Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Hio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to VA Memorial Stadium. I'm Shane Combs alongside Kenneth Hay, and back to the baseball side this evening. A little non-conference action as the Waverly Tigers will do battle with McClain, the Tigers from Greenfield out of the FAC. And, you know, Kenneth, as I welcome you in, I tell you, we had quite a treat last night. Carson and I at late night with the extra inning softball with Chillicothe and Jackson, our first softball stream here on SOSA. And, boy, was it a good one. I don't think we could ask for anything more. As I welcome you back, I mean, we obviously want to shout out the fine people at Ohio Health. Without them, none of this is possible for this here on the baseball side or what we're trying to expand with the softball as well. But I tell you, that was quite an experience. Your thought on SOSA being able to get some softball in the air?
Yeah, it was a really interesting setup out here, just being able to get the softball fence out, get the back padding out, and the bases moved up, and you just get a pretty good contest with a pretty nice crowd yesterday for what was a very important league game for the FAC girls.
No doubt about it. If you haven't had a chance to see it, I strongly suggest you go back right here on the YouTube channel and watch that one. At least watch the last couple innings, an exciting finish. Two teams that were undefeated in the league and the FAC. Again, the way they play the Monday-Wednesday format of the same team in the two-game series. Now that puts Jackson at 9-0 and Chillicothe falls to 8-1. But tomorrow night, the two teams will get right back at it down at Jackson. Jackson will try to finish off the undefeated season there for the Gold Ball Championship. Obviously, Chillicothe will try to respond and share the title at 9-1. But again, that's on the softball side. Tonight, as I mentioned, we're back to the baseball side here at the VA, the Battle of the Tigers with Waverly and McClain. And, you know, Waverly out of a really, really good SOC and just state-ranked teams all over the place and teams that in their respective division probably has pretty realistic goals of competing for a spot in the Sweet 16 and beyond later this spring. And then you look at McClain. I've mentioned it several times on SOSA Overtime with John Bruce. And by the way, SOSA Overtime, that's a weekly thing that John Bruce and I do. Appreciate Perfection One for their support of that show. John and I get together each weekend and, I'd say probably talk an hour and a half, 2 hours, everything baseball, softball throughout the southeast area of the state. And been talking a lot about the youth of this McClain team, Kenneth. A lot of athleticism, and they can come at you in a lot of different ways. And I think you add that all up, obviously, in the non-conference with these two teams right in the middle of all the league. That might test the pitching staff a little bit tonight, but that doesn't change the lineup and how athletic both of these two teams are. That should make for a pretty interesting game, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
as you said, both these teams, even though they're sitting middling in their conference, you got to look at the opponents that they're facing, as you said, night in, night out, with the SOC3 and the FAC both having pretty dominant baseball program, especially in recent history, and that this year is no different.
Take a look at some of those records and put a little content to go along with what Kenneth was just saying. In the FAC now, McClain, winners of 2 in a row. They're up to 11-6 overall. With the win last night, they improved over Hillsborough. Win last night there, they improved to 3-4 in conference play. And as I was saying on the softball side, baseball the same way. They'll go right back and play Hillsborough. Should be back at should be back in Greenfield tomorrow night. Yes, a home game with Hillsborough. They'll look to even their record up at 500 there in the conference play. But first things first, they'll do battle with a really good young Waverly squad here tonight. This Waverly team, just under 500, but man, they've been competitive in a really good league. Last night they come off a 3-2 loss to Wheelersburg, and just real close. I've seen them now 2 times in person. This will be my 3rd time, and as I've come away, as I said before, I probably would use the term pretty athletic at the top of the order, and as the year goes on, I've seen some growth throughout some of your young kids, and that makes for a real dangerous team late in the year. And, Kenneth, I think that's a good thing to talk about in baseball, because the way pitching works, it's not the same as your football team or your basketball team. Your basketball team pretty much puts the same lineup out there night in, night out. Your football team does the same thing unless you have injuries or whatnot. Baseball, you could watch a team play 3 times in a week, and depending on who takes that ball up there on the mound, it can give a completely different look to the team, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
and we see that a lot out here with a lot of non-league matchups, and this kind of tests the depth of your team, as you said. And, sometimes you get a classic like we got the other night between Chillicothe and Peebles with 2 pitchers that aren't the top of their lineup guys, but it kind of gives a chance for those younger guys, those non-experienced guys, to come out here and really show what they have, especially at this time of the season where you're looking for more arms down this stretch into the postseason.
Well, let's take a look here. First, the visitors on the scoreboard tonight to line up for Greenfield McClain. Going to lead off with Connor Chandler, the shortstop. 2-hole will be third baseman Hunter Peabody. Batting third, the center fielder Colton Lamb. The cleanup hitter is the catcher Carson Chandler. Batting fifth, the second baseman, Easton Airy. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Matthew Cummins. Camden Penwell, he's the first baseman. He'll bat seventh. Eli Douglas will play left field and bat eighth. And batting ninth and pitching will be Benny Van Gundy. One more time for the McClain Tigers. It'll go Chandler, Peabody, Lamb in the top third with Chandler, Airy, Cummins in the middle third, Penwell, Douglas, and Van Gundy. Quickly for Waverly, the home team. They'll lead off with shortstop Caleb Cox. The DH, Xander Tolan, will hit for Gavin Roberts, the right fielder, in the 2-hole. Cage Alexander is the catcher. He'll bat third. Cleanup hitter is the center fielder, Braylon Spriggs. Batting fifth, the pitcher, Landon Ramey. Batting sixth, Hud Harris, the left fielder. Brock Burdett's the first baseman. He'll bat seventh. Tyler Pauline is the second baseman. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth, the third baseman, Caden Thornsberry. One more time for the Waverly Tigers. They'll go Cox, Toller, and Alexander in the top third. Spriggs, Ramey, and Harris in the middle third with Burdett, Pauline, and Thornsberry. Getting closer and closer to the night's national anthem, Shane Combs and Kenneth A will step aside for a quick timeout, and we'll be back with tonight's first pitch. You're watching high school baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Swinging a liner to left field. Paints will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news, Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to, And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Finish up with the Knights national anthem, and we're that much closer to first pitch. So glad you're with us. Shane Combs alongside Kenneth Hay, coming on the back-to-back nights. As I said earlier in the opener, if you're just joining us, had an extra inning thriller last night on the softball side between Chillicothe and Jackson. Encourage you to go back and watch that, and you can go back and watch everything here on the YouTube channel. Got a bunch of interviews with a lot of different athletes throughout all of our sports. Myself, Kenneth, Carson, even had Dewey back with us some in the winter there. John Bruce, our entire team, you go back through them all. Kenneth, we got football, volleyball, boys basketball, girls basketball, baseball, softball now, as long as podcast shows and call-in, the Haynes Total Healthcare call-in show where the coaches can come on there and talk about their kids throughout all season. A lot going on the channel here. Certainly need to subscribe if you like high school sports.
Yeah, you'll get so much coverage as you said, we're covering basically every sport you can right now, and you see even into the social media, you'll get pictures from track, updates from track, and, you just got to follow along. You'll get all the updates.
As I said earlier from the lineup, got Landon Ramey taking the ball tonight for Waverly. The left-hander batting in the 5-hole offensively. Going to be called upon to go at this very talented, kind of a young and old mixed Greenfield team. McClain, really athletic from top to bottom. I know they've been really high on some of these sophomores coming up through junior high, and they're starting to grow into some really nice high school players and really knocking on the door there a little bit. Obviously, you're playing a conference with the likes of a Jackson, a Miami Trace. That's going to be tough sledding, but slowly but surely, now 11-6 overall, starting to really come on strong. Be a nice challenge for Ramey tonight in this Waverly defense. Ramey's battery mate will be Cage Alexander. Looks like we're about ready to get going here. Again, Chandler, Peabody, and Lamb. I should say Connor Chandler, because, again, Carson Chandler hits 4-hole here for McClain. Connor Chandler comes in hitting .333. He's the shortstop, hitting in the leadoff spot here. Another beautiful night here. We've been spoiled rotten this spring with the weather. I think tomorrow night there's a real good chance of rain. Could be one of the first washouts we've had in the high school season in quite some time. Here we go, underway. First pitch swinging, Chandler fouls it back. 75 degrees here, first pitch temperature, and looks like it'll cool off just a bit throughout the next 2 hours, but we should play most of this game in the low 70s. last night pretty still. I look out there to right field tonight, Kenneth, and the flag going a little bit, and that ball's got some eyes for the right field corner, and that's placed perfectly, and the speedy Chandler's off to the races. He'll easily get 3. We'll take a look at this cutoff to see if they'll hold him there, and great start for the purple and gold. Connor Chandler goes backside, couldn't place it any better in that right field corner, and he starts with a triple.
Yeah, as you said, just found the gap there in the outfield along the first base line, and with that speed makes it all the way to the third standing up.
Good start for McClain. Hunter Peabody will now bat with an early RBI opportunity. Ramey with a long look in. Comes set. And we're going to have a balk, and that's going to allow Connor Chandler to trot on home. I was looking at some outfield depth there. I did not see what he did there, but a pretty quick call from the home plate umpire. Got a three-man crew here this evening. So 1-0 McClain, and we'll start it all over. Peabody will hit a ground ball. Caden Thornsberry is up to the challenge. He gloves it, throws across to Burnett for the first out of the inning. Good bounce back for Ramey there. It's the ground ball. And, Kenneth, sometimes, you just got to be able to set a win earlier. Carson and I were talking about it last night. The ability to get to a pitcher early before he, or last night she, is able to set a win to their comfort. Ramey goes a little off speed there. Misses just on the outer half. This is Colton Lamb, the 3-hole hitter. Lamb's the center fielder. He takes ball 2. Comes in hitting an impressive .415 in that 3-hole. McClain certainly had a lot of production here out of the top of the order. I mentioned Connor Chandler at 333. He's already tripled and scored. And then Peabody was retired on the ground ball, but now Lamb over 400. Carson Chandler at 442. He waits on deck. Then, as I've said, with so many lineups, what you'll see in the second half of the year, you'll start to see the bottom of the order grow. Oftentimes in Southeast Ohio, you'll see some young kids maybe cracking the varsity level, not used to the varsity speed of the fastball early in the year. And, Kenneth, what happens is they get 40 or 50 at-bats under their belt, and all of a sudden things start to slow down. They start to produce.
Yeah, the game just comes slower, and you kind of get back into your natural rhythm, and that's why as the ball's hit up the middle, the shortstop Caleb Cox gets over to first in time for the second out. And as I was saying, it's just you kind of get your own rhythm, and that's really important this time of year as you get the back half of the lineup, as you said, contributing to these scores, to these runs, to these games.
Yeah, no question about it. So back-to-back ground balls. First Thornsberry, then Cox up to the challenge. Good stretch from Burdett there. And 2 outs, nobody on, and that'll bring up the McClain catcher, Carson Chandler. I said earlier, Chandler enjoying quite a spring. First pitch swinging, and he puts that right up over top of the leaping Caleb Cox. And that'll be a 2-out base knock for Carson Chandler, and the inning will continue for Easton Airy. Airy, the second baseman, just shy of 300 on the season to this point. Good opportunity now with not necessarily McClain's first base runner, because they did have Chandler over there at third before the block. Again, first pitch swinging, charging hard as Cox on the run, throws over to Burnett, and that will retire the side in the first inning. Well, McClain's able to play to run. They lead at 1-0 as Waverly's coming to bat. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Welcome back to the beautiful VA Memorial Stadium, home of your Chillicothe Paints, and obviously so gracious throughout the spring season to be just an incredible ambassador for high school baseball. And as we've watched last night, softball as well. And you'll see games out through the week. And then obviously, Kenneth, it won't be long where we'll make this pretty much our daily home in terms of good tournament baseball, as we'll try to bring as much as we can as the Southeast District gets underway here in just a few weeks. Tonight's starting pitcher for the McClain Tigers will be Benny Van Gundy. He'll be making his 6th appearance on the year. He comes in with a 1-0 record and an ERA just under 2. His battery mate Carson Chandler, who is out there on base, just now getting out with the equipment on, and that's why we just have a little bit of a delay going into the home half of the first. And if I talked about earlier, all the things you can see there on the YouTube channel, and we've even talked about a lot of different things we hope to be able to cover with track as we come up here. We're about a week and a half away, maybe 2 weeks before a lot of the league meets start. We were joking on SOSA Overtime that a lot of track coaches will tell you that the season doesn't even start till you get to the league meet. So once you get to the league meet and off to the postseason.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting with sport with track, as you could almost not show up to any meet, go to your conference meet, show up and go all the way to state if you perform well at that point.
No question about it. Shortstop Caleb Cox will step in to lead off the bottom of the first inning. McClain jumped out to the 1-0 advantage if you're just joining us. It was a leadoff triple from Connor Chandler, and then a balk brought him home for the first run of the game. First pitch just misses up as Cox will be out in front. Cox had a hit and an RBI in their recent 3-2 loss to Wheelersburg. It's just off the outside part of the plate. Good patience from Cox here in that lead spot. That ball catches the outside corner. Kenneth, when I was watching Waverly early in the year, I know they've done some different things at the top of the order there. Alexander's hit some lead off, and now he's hitting 3-hole. There's a swing and a chopper foul up the third base side. Count evens 2-2. Cox, Toller, and Alexander, top third of the order here for Waverly. Due up here in the bottom half of the first is, again, Benny Van Gundy on the mound for McClain, settling in here in the first inning. Tried the outside corner and just missed. Count runs full. Cox steps in. He gets that right hand up. Gets a time. Takes one last look down the third base box. Now he steps back in, ready to go. 3-2 pitch. Swing, hard ground ball. Good glove there by Peabody. Sets his feet, throws across. Good adjustment from Penwell to pivot up the line and make the play. And that out will go 5-3. One out batter will be Xander Toller. Toller, the designated hitter for the right fielder Gavin Roberts, hitting in the 2-hole here. Van Gundy ready to go here. Takes a little bit off air, a swing and a miss. You look at the overall numbers of Van Gundy, the times he's been called upon, been pretty good. That ball's hit extremely well. That's going to beat the left fielder, Eli Douglas, go all the way to the wall. Toller thought on the big turn, outstanding job there by Douglas to come up with it cleanly and fire a strike to Connor Chandler, the shortstop at the cut. And Toller's going to have to return the first base. That ball's hit really well off the bat. Thought double for sure. Pretty good job by the Greenfield defense.
Yeah, we've seen Toller's power out here earlier this season as he hit 2 bombs in their win over Hillsborough. That was first week of the season, and impressive performance for the freshman.
Cage Alexander will step in now, batting from the left side. Always enjoy watching Cage in some different sports. Had a chance to call him on the basketball court this winter. Outstanding player. Van Gundy now working out at the stretch, misses up top, and again falls behind 2-0. Van Gundy takes a peek over, now comes to the plate, and that ball's hit extremely well to right. Moving back on it is Cummins. And that ball gets over the top air. Toller had to wait just a second. He's going to come around to third. Alexander right on his tail there. Throw will go all the way to third, and Toller will slide in safely. So, again, off the bat, you could tell that ball was hit well, and as Cummins started back, that's probably the most difficult position in this ballpark. Would you say, Kenneth, that's fair? That right field side there where that sun comes right over top here, the stadium, and that's a tough play there.
Yeah, you said that, a sun coming over, and as we mentioned, almost every stream, just so much extra space out here that high schools don't normally have at their field, so you're asking your outfielders to cover more ground than they're used to, and ball can get away pretty easy here on the turf as well.
Yeah, a lot of things making that a really, really difficult high school play. Wind blowing out that way, the sun, and then again, that ball was really, really hit well. So Waverly in business here with 2 in scoring position. Swing for Braylon Spriggs. Probably fortunate to foul it off. You certainly don't want your 4-hole hitter to get cheated there and dribble that ball to the third baseman there. So kind of a chance to reset an RBI spot. Pitch, there's a swing. That ball's hit well out to left field. The beat on it, that's Eli Douglas. He'll make the play. Tagging and coming home is Toller. And just like that, Waverly answers the run that McClain was able to plate in the top half, and we're tied at 1. Give the RBI to Braylon Spriggs there on the sac fly. Second out of the inning. Landon Ramey steps in, and still an opportunity to help himself here as he still has the speedy Cage Alexander out there at second base. Swing and a miss. So far, Waverly, pretty good pitch selection. They've had a couple guys get ahead in the count. They've had other guys up there ready to swing first pitch, but for the most part, swinging at pretty good pitches and being able to barrel some stuff up. Good off speed there from Van Gundy. Ramey way out in front, and now it's Van Gundy with a chance to get out of the inning here, just a strike away. Couple looks there at Alexander, now comes home, just off the outside corner. Shortstop Connor Chandler trying to cat and mouse Alexander just a little bit to see if he can hold him as close as possible. Ramey fouls the 2-strike pitch back to keep the count at 1-2. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay, so glad you're with us here on SOSA. Appreciate Ohio Health for all the support throughout the year. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that will do it. Both teams played a run. We're tied at 1. We're off to the second inning. You're watching high school baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
You look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
Off to the top of the second inning. Due up for McClain will be 6, 7, 8 in the forms of Matthew Cummins, Camden Penwell, and Eli Douglas. And then Ramey will go out and pick the baseball up and prepare for his second inning of work. Pretty good job by Ramey, really, in that first inning when you consider the first batter, Connor Chandler, hit the triple down into the right field corner. And after a balk brought him home, thought Ramey settled in pretty well, got back-to-back ground balls and then a two-out single and then a third ground ball to end the inning. For the most part, it seemed like the lefty settled in.
Well, as you said, just talking about trying to get ahead of the pitcher, and that's a moment where you can really see the pitcher's morale go one way or another, and I thought he stayed really composed, as you said, and just leading his team, and though he gave up the one out on the balk, after that, as you said, rock solid.
Yeah, and really, it's kind of an obvious baseball discussion when you talk about the first inning on why that is. The pitcher's going out for the first time on the mound, trying to get settled in, get comfortable, find the release point, and then obviously that's the one time that the other team guarantees they're putting their batting order up there in the exact order the coach wanted it on the lineup card. High school baseball is a lot of levels of baseball. There's top 3-4 hitters, some of your best hitters. So that first inning certainly becomes pivotal on both sides, and they're both teams able to capitalize with the run, and that's how where we're at here, tied at 1.
While we have a moment, I want to ask you your opinion on the jersey color matchup tonight out here. Even though black's not really a color, seeing the color on color jerseys, what's your opinion on that as a former head coach?
Yeah, I think the look is sharp tonight. I see more and more schools going to some different combinations, and look, I'm sure a lot of moms out there don't hate that when you're playing 5-6 times a week. But no, I like tonight's look both ways. First pitch swinging, Matthew Cummins fouls it off down by the playground here at the VA Memorial Stadium. Cummins comes in hitting just over 300 on the season. Chopper just off the third base line. Good hustle from Ramey comes up, and the good hustle from Cummins out of the box is going to beat that out. That's going to be a clean infield hit. Just kind of chopped it right out in no man's land. Thornsberry was coming down the line. Ramey coming off the mound, and give Cummins a lot of credit. Was thinking base hit right out of the box and able to beat it out.
Yeah, 3 Tigers encroaching on it, but just an odd bounce in an odd spot. Lets the runner get to first.
Brings up Camden Penwell, the first baseman. As Ramey will step off to give a check of Cummins. Pitch, swing and a miss. Obviously, the lefty, Ramey, will play a big factor in trying to contain some of the speed in this McClain lineup. We talked about it, probably 2/3 of this lineup a threat to run. It's on the outside, tried to hold his swing up, couldn't, went all the way around, now 0-2. Waverly outfield plays Penwell slightly backside at all 3 positions. Infield pretty straight up. 0-2 pitch. Misses down. See if that's a little bit of a setup pitch. It looks like from where Alexander's been setting up and where the outfield's playing, it looks like they want to go away to get him. Let's see what Alexander has in mind here on his 1-2 call. Goes off speed. Good job by Alexander to keep that ball in front. We always talk about the better your catcher is, the more confidence the pitcher is going to have to bury that breaking ball. 2-2 to count as Cummins continues the lead from first. Pitch up and away, and now after being ahead 0-2, all the way back to 3-2, and a threat of possibly losing Penwell and putting the first 2 McClain Tigers aboard. Swing and a miss. Good pitch there from Ramey. First strikeout of the evening. And the first out of the inning will bring up Eli Douglas. Douglas, the left fielder, involved in a couple nice defensive plays there in the bottom half of the first inning out in left field. Comes in hitting just over 300.
3 doubles and a triple this season for the senior. So have the umpires meet up.
We, as I mentioned, we have 3 of them tonight, and first the 2 base umpires signaled for each other, and now they call for home plate umpire, and not sure what it would be about here. It looks like from where we're at, the lineup card is correct. We've got the runner over at first. So, I mean, for me to know what's going on, it'd be pretty much an entire guess. A lot of times with they don't work a lot of 3-man crew, maybe possibly just double checking on some of the positioning. Yeah, that's just a complete guess on my part. Now we're back to action. Pitch climbs the ladder and signal strike 1. Cummins, pretty modest lead there. And that ball is hit hard out in the left center field. Spriggs over to cut it off, and Cummins will move up 90 feet, and now it's 2 on with 1 out. And the pitcher, Benny Van Gundy, will step to the plate. Good swing for Eli Douglas as he improves that 304 average, and we always talk about the pitcher being able to help himself. Certainly this position is just that for Van Gundy.
Junior trying to add to his RBI total here, give himself some run support.
Ball misses just up and away. First and second, 1 out spot. Burdette even maybe a slight step ahead of the bag over there at first. There's a swing and a miss. One out in the inning. Cummins leads from second after his leadoff infield hit. Douglas leads from first after his 1-out base hit. Pitcher Benny Van Gundy trying to put his team back out in front. Good pitch from Ramey there as Van Gundy swings through it. Now Ramey ahead of him, 1-2. Waverly would love a ground ball here to get out of the inning and not have to mess with the top of the order. There he climbs the ladder. Van Gundy unable to hold up and going to get his second strikeout. So 2 out, 2 on. McClain will flip the batting order back to the top for Connor Chandler. Chandler led off the ball game tonight with a triple down in the right field corner, and he would pretty much immediately score after a balk. First and second spot with 2 outs. Crack of the bat, any contact, so you feel like the speedy Cummins would be able to score on any hit to the outfield here. Good off-speed pitch from Ramey. Had Chandler a little aggressive. Swings and misses.
Yeah, you mentioned the speed, 12 stolen bases on the year. We even saw it earlier, just getting to first, basically in what felt like a second. So by the time they got the ball, he was all the way to third.
Yes. Yeah. Good sequence of pitches there. Went off speed, then came back with the fastball. Now way ahead 0-2. Again, a chance to get out of this against a really good hitter in Chandler. Chandler fights that 0-2 pitch off, and Burdette will go all the way over to the fence, take a look at it, but that's going to fall well out of play.
Chandler giving another gift to the Paints playground here at the VA.
Harris, Spriggs, and Roberts around left to right in the Waverly outfield. Braylon Spriggs with a terrific arm out there in center field. Fastball just misses a little up and in. Again, we'll see the sequence here. A lot of times that's followed by soft and away. So the good battle between Ramey and Chandler continues. Swing and a high fly ball right up in the sun. Burdette looking right up into it, and give him a lot of credit. I know he falls down there, but that's not an easy play. As we said, the sun is on that side of the field with the wind blowing out, and he hangs in there, and that's a run-saving play as he calls it in, and that will end the inning. McClain will strand two. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning. 1-1. Watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounts and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Off to the bottom of the second inning we go. It'll be 6, 7, 8 due up for Waverly as we're tied 1-1. There on the commercial break, you see the commercial for SOSA, the Dugout. Great facility. I know we have some rain in the area coming in tomorrow, so if you get washed out there and you still want to get some of your work in, make sure you check that out, sosadugout.com. Van Gundy back to work. First pitch swinging. Harris jammed a little bit. Thought he was going to be able to loop one into right field there, but nice play from Camden Penwell as he reaches up and grabs that one for the first out of the inning. Certainly helps a pitch count for Benny Van Gundy. One pitch, one out. Brock Burdette will step in. I was saying there, Kenneth, at the end of the first inning, you know, maybe not with style points, but that's a tough play. That ball goes up in the sun with the wind blowing out there a little bit, and that's a helpless filling for a corner infielder. He did a good job of hanging in there and making the catch. Another first pitch swinging. Good hustle coming in from Hunter Peabody at third, but just a step shy, so new life for Brock Burnett after strike one. Van Gundy allowed back-to-back one-out hits to Toller and Alexander in the first inning, and then Braylon Spriggs was able to deliver the RBI sac fly to provide Waverly its run as Toller was able to come home. One to count. Ball pops off the glove of Carson Chandler into the backstop, but nobody on. No harm done. 2-1 to count to the Waverly first baseman. Van Gundy misses low and away, and now all of a sudden, after it looked like Burdette might be retired on that little fly ball over to third base, it drops just out of the reach of Peabody, and then three straight balls out of the zone and way ahead in the count. Good bounce back there from Van Gundy to get the swing and miss, and that'll run the count full. Three-two pitch. Just misses low and away, and that's going to give Waverly a one-out base runner. First walk of the night. Couple of McClain Tiger umpires below me down just below us there, not maybe agreeing with the call. As I say each night, Kenneth, they don't get a vote.
Yeah, only tonight 3 guys get a vote, and really the one behind the plate matters in most situations. So.
There's a pitch that misses away. I may or may not have, in 30 years of coaching, disagreed with a call here and there.
Got to be a rarity.
Yeah. Van Gundy comes set. Good off speed there to the outside corner. Tyler Pauline is the one-out batter here. Waverly second baseman. Good pitch. Dribbles it foul right up third base line. Carson Chandler out quickly to kill it foul, and Van Gundy ahead of Pauline 1-2. One out in the inning.
Pauline, only a freshman, as you mentioned earlier in this game. Coach Noble looking for these young guys earlier on this year, and get the swing and miss for the strikeout. A little bit of an announcer curse there, but a lot of these young guys on this Waverly roster getting these reps and getting these at-bats, and it kind of just, you see their growth throughout the season.
Yeah, no question about it. That's the second strikeout for Benny Van Gundy on the evening. So the 2-out batter will be Caden Thornsberry. Swinging first pitch, hits a ground ball to Hunter Peabody, sets the feet, throws across, and that ball brings Penwell up the line. So we're probably going to have a throwing error there, and that's going to extend the inning to allow Waverly to turn the batting order over. So let's see if Waverly can make this one hurt. Looked like Van Gundy was going to be out of the inning. So 2 outs, 2 on. Back to the top of the order, and Cox, good swing there. Rips a line drive right past the lunge of Chandler at short, and they're going to have to hold the runner, Burdette, at third. So off the bat, looked like potential RBI opportunity to put Waverly in front for the first time tonight, but stop sign went up, and now bases loaded with Xander Toller. Certainly still a big-time threat and an opportunity for Waverly. Let's see if Van Gundy can make a pitch to get out of the inning. Nowhere to put him here as he misses off the outside corner of the plate. So this is a spot here where if you're Toller, you're sitting one pitch, one spot, looking to really barrel one up into the gap. Got that good speed of Cox over there at first base. You can find a gap here. You could bring 3 home. 2-0.
As you said, up early 2-0. Danger spot here for Van Gundy.
Good hitters count. Here's the pitch. Swings and just misses it. Lifts a high fly ball. Chandler goes off the infield and makes the catch there at shortstop. Great job, Benny Van Gundy, pitching around the throwing area to pick his defense up and get the final out of the inning. We're still tied 1-1. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Off to the third inning as Waverly leaves them loaded there in the home half of the second. Great opportunity there. Had a 2-out hit from Caleb Cox, unable to get the runner home. So that left the bases loaded for the power hitter Xander Toller, and he put a good A big swing on one, just got under it a little bit and lifted that fly ball up, and a good play from Chandler to back, drop step there and go back and get it and get out of the inning. Good composure from Benny Van Gundy.
Yeah, good swing there from Toller, but as you said, just gets a little under it, and you can see through his swing the power that he has, as we've mentioned before. So good job there by Van Gundy to get out of the sticky situation.
Well, what you always love, throughout the year, it's a team sport. Throughout the year, your defense is going to make some plays for you to pick you up. When your defense makes an error, no one feels worse than the person who made the error. So as a pitcher, you want to take a lot of pride in picking your guy up, and I thought Van Gundy was able to do that there in a tight spot.
Yeah, he had a really good fight in that last inning, as a lot of those counts went full or went extra with fouled off balls, and just good composure to stay in and not give up a run even through the loaded bases situation.
So top of the third inning, 2-3-4 for McClain. It'll be Peabody, Lamb, and Carson Chandler.
Peabody, only a sophomore, hitting .373 on the year. 11 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. Pretty impressive to only be in 10th grade.
One of those sophomores, if you weren't with us, that I was highlighting that sophomore class back in our pregame coverage, a group that a lot of people throughout the Greenfield area has been speaking highly of. Big swing and a miss there. Evens the count 1-1. Been impressed with the lefty Landon Ramey to this point, his ability to change speeds. That ball misses just up. 2-1 count.
Talking about fight, Ramey balking in the runner at the top of the first, but since then, just been rock solid on the mound. As you said, those off-speed pitches have really been getting ahead, or behind, excuse me, of the McClain hitters, as well as the combo 1-2 pitches in out, and he's been dealing all night so far.
Well, and I think, Kenneth, you see it there, like where that fastball, he's late on the swing because, again, the ability to mix and match. Good at bat here from Hunter Peabody as they run the count full. Peabody 0 for 1, hit a ground ball over to Caden Thornsberry at third base back in the first inning. Three-two pitch, fouled off. We'll do it again.
Mentioned pregame, Waverly trying to get back in the win column after the tough 3-2 loss versus Wheelersburg. Coach Noble 2 wins away from 500.
Yeah, unbelievable career. Obviously, been doing it a long, long time. Got time out there. I couldn't tell if Ramey stepped off first or if Peabody asked for it. Nonetheless, we're ready to go now. Ramey worked it pretty exclusively from the stretch, even with nobody on. There's an off-speed pitch. He tried to freeze him on the 3-2 pitch and just left it up a little bit. And the good speed of Hunter Peabody works the leadoff walk.
Peabody second in the team, as I said, grabbed 10 bags so far already this year. Always something for a pitcher to think about when he's on base.
Haven't seen McClain start the run game tonight just yet with the lefty on the mound. There's a pitch down that had Lamb fooled right from the get-go. Kind of a weird three-quarter swing where he tried to maybe hold up. 0-1. It's Colton Lamb. Lamb swings and lifts a fly ball down that right field side. Just out of play.
We were talking about making this place our home in the spring. Coach Noble going to make this place his home in the summer on the Paints coaching staff this season.
Yeah, how about that? Another timeout from a McClain hitter as Lamb steps out. Lamb also 0 for 1. He had a ground ball to Cox at shortstop in the first inning.
Coach Noble brings some experience to a relatively otherwise super young Paints coaching staff this year.
Pitch just off the plate now, 1-2. Notice the pace slowing way down with the base runner on. Now Raymond to the plate. There's a ground ball, second base, double play opportunity. McClain over to Cox. He turns it over to Burdett, and talk about the pitcher's best friend. That'll do just fine there for Landon Ramey, as we'll score that one 4-6-3 for the double play. Nice job by Tyler Boulain to start that one there with a good glove, and Cox coming across the bag and firing a bullet over there to Burdett. So with 2 outs, nobody on now as it erases the base runner. Carson Chandler will step in. Chandler singled back in the first inning to add to that 442 team best batting average. There's a swing and another base hit. Good shot up the middle. So the 2-out base hit's going to give Easton Airy a try. McClain, second baseman, grounded out to Caleb Cox at shortstop to end the first inning. Fifth hit of the evening for McClain. Swing and a miss to Airy on a ball down. Connor Chandler had the triple to lead off the game, and then after he scored on the ball, Carson Chandler had a base hit. And then you had an infield hit from Cummins and a hit from Douglas in the second inning. That ball gets away, going to go all the way over. Thought about taking 2 bags, but stopped there at second with 2 outs. Kind of changes the inning a little bit now. The runner into scoring position, and the count 1-1 on Easton Airy. Chandler leads from second base. Here's the pitch. Ball misses, pops away from Alexander momentarily, but he hustles to get it back. Runner cannot advance. 2-1 to count. Here in the third inning, McClain trying to break a 1-1 tie. Landon Ramey trying to keep it right where it's at. And another timeout in the box. Now Ramey comes set. There's the pitch, and that ball's down. Pretty good job of Alexander just to keep everything out in front of him.
Well, and with the pace, we talked so many times out here about teams just trying to use out the arm that starts on the mound, and we see that as the difference in a lot of these non-league games is the second and third pitcher that teams are having to put in, and you see the pace start to slow down already.
No question. Pitch to the outside corner, runs the count full. Yeah, there's a lot of rules at the higher levels of baseball that, some would be very difficult to bring to the high school level because of some technology, but there are some basic rules that I'd be in major favor of. Maybe we'll go over those as the night goes on, but for now, that's a strike 3. Looking the backwards K is going to strand the runner out there in scoring position, and it's going to keep us tied 1-1 as we head off to the bottom half of the third inning. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay, you're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie & Son Trucking, each week at sosaohio.com.
Welcome back to VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs alongside Kenneth Hay. Want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Right here, the YouTube channel that you're watching this game on this evening has all sorts of content that if you like high school sports even a little bit, you're going to love the channel. All kinds of interviews from throughout the southeast part of the state. go back, watch some football, some volleyball, boys basketball, girls basketball, plenty of baseball now, and then
now
obviously
girls
last
softball,
night.
as you said,
Absolutely.
what a game yesterday that was. As Jackson at least clinches a share of the FAC title with that 9-inning performance to the bottom of the ninth, basically too, as they end it.
Just phenomenal. I mean, listen, you get a back and forth. You come in with two great programs, and Chillicothe was up 3-2, then Jackson was up 4-3, and then it was 4-4, and then it was 5-4, and then 5. I mean, just back and forth, and finally give Jackson credit. They find a way to come through, and those two teams will be right back at it tomorrow night. I'm sure that'll be just as exciting down there in Jackson as they try to figure out the way the FAC is going to unfold on the softball side. Well, we head here to the home half of the third inning. It's going to be 3-4-5 for Waverly. Cage Alexander, followed by Braylon Spriggs and Landon Raymond. Alexander doubled the right field his first time up on a ball really well hit.
We've seen him a good few times already this year throughout Waverly Athletics.
Yeah, I mentioned this first at bat, just outstanding athlete. First pitch misses for a ball. There's a swing, and that ball's hammered again down the right field line, but he got himself out around that one a little bit and sends it foul down in the corner.
One thing you can go back and look at our basketball streams, I think this is one of the most impressive things about Alexander is his body control. Is you can be as fast as you can, but the way he controls his movement is just really impressive for someone his age, and that really puts danger. And as you saw last inning when he was on base, the pitcher had to hold him there almost every at-bat.
Yeah, big time score on the basketball court. And every time I watched him, I felt like he got better and better in some of the different point guard areas of efficiency. Just terrific player. Still has half his career left. There's a swing and another foul. Mentioned the wind tonight. It certainly picked up a little bit more than it did last night. Last night, the flag's pretty calm. Tonight, the more traditional VA wind where it blows out to right center field. Ball misses just in off the plate. Pretty good pitcher's pitch there on the 2-2, but it misses. So now 3-2, and Cage Alexander trying to find his way on here to jumpstart his Waverly Tigers in the third inning. And he does just that as Van Gundy. Payoff pitch misses up top, and the speedy Alexander aboard. So Alexander on for the second time, and that'll bring Braylon Spriggs, the cleanup hitter, to the plate. He had an RBI sac fly, lifted a fly ball out to Eli Douglas in left field back in the first inning, bringing home Xander Toller for Waverly's only run. Ball misses outside. Good job of Carson Chandler to go out to get it. See what Waverly might do in terms of starting the run game here. You got the speedy Alexander over there at first. Slide step there. Swing and well out in front of that. Lines a foul ball down the left field corner. Good hustle by Nelson right out of that Waverly dugout. Hustling all the way down to get that one. Van Gundy checks the runner. Now set. Runner going. Ball misses up. One hop on the turf down, and Alexander stayed on his feet. He didn't get down. He about ended up running. He was there easy, but almost ended up running through the bag. But nonetheless,
able about that body control is being able to keep that back foot down.
Yeah.
Momentum wanted to take him out to left field, but good job there just keeping the foot down, staying safe.
Stolen base now for Alexander, has him in scoring position. There's a ground ball shortstop. Chandler gloves it. He throws across to Penwell. But that ball bringing Chandler up the middle. Good read from Alexander right off the bat, moving up all the way. And so a productive out for Spriggs. The 6-3 will move Alexander to third base with just one out. And now if Landon Ramey is able to put the ball in play, going to be a good percentage that the speed of Alexander finds a way home. So big spot here in the game as Waverly tries to take the lead. Off-speed catches inside corner for a strike. Pitcher-on-pitcher battle was Van Gundy here from McClain facing Landon Ramey, the Waverly southpaw. There's a swing and a foul back, and Van Gundy quickly ahead. Big need of a strikeout.
As you said, almost any ball in play here. The speed of Alexander almost guaranteed a score.
Yeah, outside of an infield fly ball or maybe a ground ball right back to the pitcher, you feel like Alexander's instincts, any other type of ground ball, going to get him home. Pitch misses down and in. Mentioned Van Gundy in need of a strikeout. He has two of them on the evening, one of them being Landon Ramey to end the first inning earlier. Off speed. Had him out in front, kind of got it off the end of the bat there, but enough to stay alive. Good encouragement from the Waverly dugout here to stay alive. Again, trying anything possible just to get a ball in play. Swing and a miss. Ended up taking something off. Outstanding pitch. Strikeout number 3, but that's one of those in a situational baseball that you really, really needed. And now, as far as Van Gundy goes, you can kind of forget about Alexander for a minute. Trust your catcher to keep the ball in front, and the focus will be on the 2-out batter, Hud Harris. Ball misses up. Harris hit that little soft liner to start the second inning over to Penwell at first base, 0 for 1. There's a good curveball, but again, crosses the plate just a little high and falls behind 2-0. Working from the windup is Van Gundy. That pitch is, I couldn't tell on the signal. He called a strike on the outside corner, though?
I believe so. Looked like it just barely hit that inside corner. Makes it 2-1. Now 2-2 with a swing and a miss from Hud Harris.
Yeah, so again, big opportunity here for Benny Van Gundy. Waverly's been able to make him work, but so far he's been able to pitch in and out of trouble. Off speed, just misses the outside corner. We're going to go full. So first base is open, so you can still make him hit your pitch, but at the same time, this early in the game, you'd like to get out of the inning here. There's a soft liner just over the top of the shortstop, and that's going to fall out of no man's land just in front of the sprinting Colton Lamb, and that's going to be a 2-out RBI for Hud Harris, and Waverly's going to take the 2-1 advantage in this one.
As we said earlier, it's almost any ball put in play, you knew Cage Alexander was going to score at that speed, and basically as soon as the ball hit the ground, he was already at the plate.
So the RBI single there for Hud Harris extends the inning for Brock Burdett. He walked his first time up. Off and running is Harris, and the throw down by Chandler, and they got him. Nice job, Carson Chandler. The caught stealing will end the inning. Not before Waverly plates a run. Waverly leads McClain 2-1 as we head off to the fourth inning. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Well, we've played 3 here at VA Memorial Stadium, the Battle of the Tigers with McClain and Waverly. And to this point, it's the black and orange, Waverly, up 2-1. And as we head to the 4th inning, it'll be 6, 7, 8 due up for McClain. Matthew Cummins, Camden Penwell, and Eli Douglas. This is where we started the top of the 2nd inning earlier. Cummins was able to get an infield hit, but after Penwell struck out, Eli Douglas singled. And after a Van Gundy strikeout, great opportunity for McClain. Had their leadoff hitter, Connor Chandler, back up there with 2 on, and he ended up hitting the high fly ball over to Burnett to end the inning. It's kind of been the story. You know, there you kind of get the 2-out knock for Waverly, but both Ramey and Van Gundy have pitched themselves in some trouble, but able to pitch out of it, and so far fairly low scoring at 2-1 in the favor of Waverly.
Yeah, as you said, kind of been playing with fire early on here, and I don't want to say lucky to only be 2-1, but they fought themselves out of some dangerous situations. We talked about Van Gundy earlier having the bases loaded, Ramey balking in the first run, putting a few more on base, but holding it down to just 1 run so far for the Tigers. Of McClain, that is.
No, you're right about playing fire. I remember we had a bases load. Waverly left the bases loaded back in the bottom of the 2nd inning with a really good hitter up, and certainly both teams have had some chances. There's a swing and a ball slicing down the right field line, just foul. Good hustle by Gavin Roberts, just out of the reach. Strike 1. Matthew Cummins, the McClain right fielder, hitting in this 6 hole, had the infield hit in the 2nd inning to have that .304 batting average on the rise. Pitch on the just off the outside corner. No, excuse me, it hits the outside corner, so 0-2 is the signal from the umpire. Now, pitch sails over the top of catcher Cage Alexander all the way to the backstop, and ball 1. Matthew Cummins, a tough out as we watched his first time. If he's able to hit top half out on this turf, he really gets down the line well. Ramey's 1-2 pitch. Ball misses low. I said Ramey works exclusively from the stretch, and obviously pitching from the left side, he's been able for the most part to control the run game. And there he gets a swing and miss for his 4th strikeout of the evening. Give credit to Cage Alexander there. Good job at the drop and block, and then immediately got up and put the tag on Cummins to complete the strikeout. So, again, strikeout number 4 for Ramey, and the 1-out batter will be Camden Penwell. Penwell was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. And that fastball sails well over top of Alexander, the backstop.
As we see your Paint Valley legend, Adrian Salmone, walking across the front right now.
Man of many talents.
Quaker of the Year, as you hear from the other side of the press box, was Adrian at Wilmington.
No doubt about it.
Heart and soul of this VA stadium, he'd tell you.
2-0 to count to Penwell. There's a swing and a miss. Again, been impressed with Landon Ramey. He's fought some command issues here and there, but again, his ability to change speeds, I think, has been his key tonight so far. There you see the fastball. Beats Penwell on it to even the count 2-2. When you're able to command some of that off-speed pitch, you get the batter setting on that. Now all of a sudden the fastball feels that much better from the hitter's timing, and And we've seen a little bit of that, both the fastball and the off speed.
Well, when you get later in these games with these extra arms and you start to have the command issues, as a coach, what are you telling your pitcher to just stay in there and try to get the control back in?
Well, I think it's always trying to work ahead. I mean, obviously, as coaches, we all say that. Throw strike one, right? Want to get ahead in the count, but I think you just got to stay confident that you can go and get a strike whenever you need it. You know, if you do fall behind, can you make a good pitch, trust your defense? But obviously with this McClain team, they run way too well just to be giving free passes. You got to make them hit their way on. You were giving some of those numbers earlier, Kenneth. I mean, really, what, 2/3 of the lineup, kind of a threat to beat you with the legs a little bit in some way on the bases.
Yeah, 50 steals as a team. And I don't even think that number shows it enough of how quick these guys are.
That was a late timeout before that pitch there, and then so now he comes back and beats him again on the fastball away, 1-1. And so far the lefty move has been able to kind of at least maintain the running game. I haven't really seen McClain look to push it too much. 1-2's the count. Swing and a foul off first base side will allow Douglas to stay alive. Eli Douglas, the left fielder, had a single back in the second inning, so working on the 1-for-1 night. McClain had a couple base runners in the first. Chandler tripled and scored, and then Carson Chandler singled. He had a 2-out hit, so not a whole lot of opportunity to run there. Probably their best chance to start the run game was when Cummins was on the lead off the second inning as the ball's fouled back again.
And after the 2 back-to-back misses from Ramey, pretty good job coming back into control here.
You also talked about, what do coaches tell your hitter there. I think a lot of times if you trust your hands against that fastball and you stay back, I always feel like you're trying to think right center field, and that kind of keeps you back and from diving out at the ball and gives you a better feel of the strike zone.
Well, especially at this stadium, just so much open turf. And on the turf, that ball can just roll and roll all the way to the wall.
There's a line drive, but played well right at Braylon Spriggs, and he'll haul it in. So good loud contact from Eli Douglas. Nothing to show for it on the line out to center field. And that'll do it here in the fourth inning for McClain. Off to the home half of the fourth we go. Shank Holmes and Kenneth Hayes. So glad you're with us. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Off to the bottom of the fourth inning here at VA Memorial Stadium, and it was Brock Burnett who was in the batter's box when Hud Harris was thrown out by Carson Chandler, trying to steal to end the third inning. So Burnett will be back to the bat rack and will lead things off here in the fourth inning. It'll be 7-8-9 for Waverly, Burdett, Pauline, and Thornsberry. Burdett had a 1-out walk back in the second inning his first time up, and he was one of the 3 Tigers stranded when they left the bases loaded. Pitch misses down and away.
Caught a really good infield fly earlier in the game, basically staring straight into the sun. I don't think our camera could do it justice how hard that is here at this stadium.
There's a big swing, and again, that's one of those high fly balls where it gets up, and that wind just starts to carry it a little bit more toward right center field, which was Connor Chandler's glove side. He just kept drifting and was able to hang in there and make a good play. Colton Lamb was on his way in. Probably one more step would have probably called his shortstop off, but nonetheless, Chandler makes the play.
See the freshman come back up to the plate.
Ball lane with a big swing and miss. Mentioned Ramey's ability to change speeds. I really think Van Gundy been pretty sharp himself. There's a good off-speed pitch, and way ahead now, ball lean 0-2.
And the arm situation is going to be interesting tonight for McClain as they played yesterday against Hillsboro and played tomorrow once again against Hillsboro.
That pitch just misses off the outside corner. 1-2. Here's the pitch, and nice job Carson Chandler dropping block. He'll step out and throw it down, and that play ended up a little bit tighter than it needed to be. Give Camden Penwell a nice little plus play there on the stretch and hauls it in as he avoids the base runner Pauline hustling down the line. Nonetheless, that'll go down as Van Gundy's 4th strikeout of the evening. I'll bring up Caden Thornsberry. Thornsberry with one of the Waverly hits in that 3-2 loss to Wheelersburg. First pitch swinging, ground ball over to Hunter Peabody. He sets his feet, throws across, over to Penwell, and that will be a quick 3-up, 3-down for Benny Van Gundy. McClain back to the bat rack. They trail by 1, 2-1. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Four innings complete here at VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay. So glad you're with us here on SOSA. Appreciate all the support of Ohio Health throughout the year, making all of this possible. Kenneth's been a good one. Well pitched on both sides. Landon Ramey on the Waverly side. Benny Van Gundy for McClain, and the Battle of the Tigers, you were calling it there back in the pregame in this non-conference affair. It's been a really well-played game.
Yeah, both teams, especially both pitchers, I'd say, really just keeping themselves out of trouble. Well, keeping themselves out of scoring trouble. Had a little bit of issues with some control for Ramey and loading the bases a little bit for Van Gundy, but both just doing such a good job keeping their composure, going to their calm few pitches, whether that be the off-speed of Ramey or the breaking balls of Van Gundy, and just going to their spots and getting these outs, and leads us at 2-1.
As you say, in a one-run game, this is a really pivotal out here. 9-1-2 for McClain. So you got that top of the order sitting on deck. You always want to try to get a lead man here as the pitcher Van Gundy going to try to help himself by just simply getting on base. Ramey delivers there. Tries the outside corner at the knees and just misses low. 2-0 to count. Ramey continues to work from the stretch as he has all evening. There's a ground ball to shortstop. Cox will field, sets the feet, fires across. Throw comes up the line a little bit. Good adjustment from Burdette there as he applies the tag to Benny Van Gundy, and that'll go down as the 6-3 putout.
Now back up to the top of the lineup for McClain. Connor Chandler, as we said, batting .333 on the year.
Chandler tripled and scored to start the ball game, and then in the second inning had an RBI opportunity and ended up hitting that high fly ball over to Burdette, where he was battling the sun and wind and was able to hang in there and hang on to it. There's a chopper right out in front of home plate. Ramey bounces off the mound. Well throws over to first base, and an outstanding job by Brock Burdette. Big-time scoop there. That ball was thrown hard and low and right off the turf. I'll grant you, the turf gives you a good bounce, but it also gives you one that can really skip or skid on you a little bit, and I thought Brock Burdette made a super play there.
Yeah, ball about dead to rights in the dirt, just scoops it up, gets the out. Chandler probably thought he was pretty clear from then on. Good job there by the first baseman.
Well, you think about it, Kenneth, the way Chandler runs, if that ball gets down the line, all kinds of problems could exist then. But nonetheless, two outs, nobody on, and it's going to bring up Hunter Peabody. Peabody ground ball to Thornsberry at third base back in the first inning and then walked in the third. There's a shot back up the middle for a two-out base hit. So Hunter Peabody now 1 for 2 with a walk-on for the second time this evening. So the two-out base runner is Peabody, and the two-out batter will be Colton Lamb. Said Colton Lamb comes in hitting well over 400 there, but so far tonight, a couple ground balls, 0 for 2, had the ground out to Cox, and then remember he hit the ground ball there on the swing and the miss. He hit the ground ball to Boline that went Boline, Cox to Burdette for the 4-6-3 double play. So far, Ramey's been able to keep the talented three-hole hitter in check.
Well, I was going to say, just showing off the versatility of Ramey throughout his pitches. We've mentioned so many times the off-speed, just getting people in front of it.
Fly ball lifted out to right field. Boline went back. Roberts comes in and calls him off, and Gavin Roberts makes the play to end the inning. Off to the bottom of the fifth inning, Waverly leads at 2-1. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured Hit Tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounts and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Welcome back. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay here at VA Memorial Stadium in Chillicothe, Ohio. Waverly leads McClain 2-1, and we head to the home half of the fifth inning. A great opportunity for Waverly to play some add-on as they flip the order to the top for the third time this evening, as Cox, Toller, and Alexander will come calling. And Kenneth, you feel like if Waverly could give Ramey one more run, all of a sudden McClain down to just 6 outs offensively, that would go a long way in relaxing the left-hander in the next half inning.
Yeah, we were talking about it during the break. Just pretty good pace for both these teams so far this game, but as you said, in the deficit, those outs start to creep more and more. About do or die time soon for McClain.
Yeah, some really good jobs throughout the evening from Ramey and Van Gundy because both teams have had the right guy up in some RBI spots, and for the most part, both pitchers have been up to the challenge. Cox first pitch swinging, swings and misses. He's 1 for 2 on the evening. Started back in the first inning with a ground ball over to Peabody, and then he had a base hit in the second inning, so 1 for 2. There's a swing, lifts one out over top. A shortstop, the speedy Chandler tracks it down and hauls it in for the first out of an inning. So there's a big lead out to keep Cox off the bases. Now to bring up Xander Toller. Toller 1 for 2, had a single back in the first inning. And then remember, with the bases loaded, that's one of the situations I was talking about. 2-out batter with the bases loaded, ended up hitting the fly ball to shortstop. That was a big-time job by Benny Van Gundy because you remember the inning was all made possible with the game's only air, and then with the bases loaded, he's able to pitch around it and get the out.
And that was about as close of a miss as you could get from a hitter. You even heard that one off the bat, just got under it, popped it out just over the third baseman's head.
0-2 there. Stays alive, fly ball out down the right field side. Been real impressed with the athleticism that the shortstop play on both sides tonight with Cox and Chandler, their ability to go off the infield and go get it. There's a pitch that misses low and away. Good pitcher's pitch on the 0-2. Good layoff from Toller, now 1-2. Goes right out to the same spot again. Great work from Carson Chandler. To give Toller credit, able to not bite on the outside breaking pitch, and he gets him back in the count now, even 2-2. There's a hard shot at the shortstop, played on the hop by Chandler. He throws across and pulls Pinwell off the bag. He tried to get back to the bag, but not before Toller could get in. So good play on the hard shot, but it looks like we're going to have a throwing error there on the shortstop, and that's going to make Toller the one-out base runner.
Well, and there you see the importance of running it out. As we say that so many times in these games, we saw it in the People's game too. Sometimes you run these out, and just the luck of the draw gets you, and you get on first. As we'll see, a pinch runner here for the Tigers. Hez Nelson.
Oh, I had Nelson down. Oh, there it is at 20. Yeah. So Nelson in to run. I think I misidentified him earlier coming out of the dugout, so I apologize. So now we've got the umpires coming together to make sure they have I assume the lineup card correctly there to the DH spot for Toller. So that doesn't do anything to Gavin Roberts playing defense in right. And then Toller is a starter, so in high school baseball, he still gets one re-entry. So, again, if you're confused on the designated hitter rule there, him running for the DH has nothing to do with Roberts playing right field, so he'll, I assume, still do that. How to bring Cage Alexander into the box. The left-handed hitting catcher swings at the first pitch, lifts one out over top of third base. It'll actually be the shortstop, Chandler, coming over and making the play. So talk about a big out. Alexander already has doubled, walked, had a stolen base there. First pitch swinging, and Chandler's been busy over there at shortstop. And what's funny about it, Kenneth, a lot of it's been in the fly ball variety. I look down at my book here. I think that's the fourth time I have written FO6, meaning the fly out the shortstop there. And so Chandler's been up to the challenge in some of his range.
Yeah, not the usual night you'd expect from a shortstop defensively, but just making those plays as we see Nelson go. And they'll get him out. Once again, speaking right on time. What a play from the shortstop there for the Tigers to take us to the next inning.
Yeah, big-time throw, Carson Chandler, for the second time tonight. We end an inning with the result of a caught stealing, and that keeps McClain in the ball game, down just 2-1 as we head off to the sixth inning. You're watching high school baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Welcome back. Shane Combs and Kenneth Hay. Watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health. Want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out SOSA Overtime. John Bruce and myself get together weekly and talk for a few hours about high school baseball and softball. Appreciate Perfection One for all their support and allowing us to do that. We also have the Haynes Total Health Care Coaches Call-In Show each weekend. John always does a good job of getting a variety of coaches for baseball, softball, from throughout the entire coverage area. Even had some track coverage here. And as we said, track will really start to gear up here in the next couple weeks. You'll get to your conference meets and into the postseason.
Our Raymond Gledo always getting some great pictures at the track meets. Check out our socials for those. And I'll speak for somebody not on the show. If you want to keep up with all, whether it be winter, fall, or right now spring sports, pretty hard to do. And we have so many leagues we cover. That's why I'd recommend listening to Overtime, presented by Perfection One and the Coaches Call-In Show. You hear about all these sports all in a quick, not quick 2 hours, but you understand, just getting all the information you need to keep up to date with the sports, with the leagues, with the standings. So be sure to check those out every Monday, I believe the Overtime's posted, and every Sunday for the Coaches Call-In Show.
As that ball misses, ball one here to Carson Chandler. What I love about it, Kenneth, is I can just kind of take it with me all week long. And throughout the week, I just try to make sure I listen to an interview when I get a chance. And you're right. It really allows you to kind of feel like you have a pulse on a little bit of everything, baseball, softball, throughout the Southeast District.
I know myself during basketball season, during games that I'd call that I have not seen the team yet, listening to you guys talk about them on your previews really helped me in my research for the game and would help any fan wanting to get interested in the area.
No question about it. Big spot here. Carson Chandler, McClain's leading hitter, leads off here in the top of the sixth inning. He's behind 1-2, and that's a swing and a miss. A big-time strikeout. Landon Ramey's been sharp tonight, and he gets a big out there.
Yeah, we saw some control issues in the fourth, but Ramey looking back on target, back sharp, dealing quickly with McClain last inning. And for the Tigers, you got to watch these outs. There's only 5 outs left to try to come back in this contest. The first pitch misses inside for ball one.
Yeah, Easton Airy stepping in. That was Ramey's 6th strikeout of the evening. Looking down here at my book, I think he's just had the one base on ball. He did have the balk back in the first inning, but really the lefty settled in and been really good. Foul ball straight back, now 1-2 as Ramey once again is ahead. Ball misses down, evens the count 2-2, and McClain would like to get the speed of Airy and then Cummins on base here to see if they can't jumpstart a rally as they trail 2-1 here in the top of the sixth inning. Fastball sails up and away and going to run the count full. So this becomes a pretty big pitch in the ball game with the speed of Airy. Certainly don't want to allow him on. See if Ramey can come up with a strike when he needs it. Just misses off the outside corner, and it's his second walk of the evening to go along with his 6 strikeouts. But this one comes at a time where Easton Airy will represent the tying run, and Matthew Cummins will step in. He's 1 for 2. He had an infield hit to lead off the second inning.
Well, and you start to creep up on decision time for Coach Noble. Returning back to action tomorrow versus Northwest.
Pitch sells up and away again. If you weren't with us earlier, Kenneth was sharing how the run game has been such a part of McClain's arsenal this year, but with the lefty Ramey on the mound, they haven't been real aggressive with their leads.
As you said, as a southpaw, not really turning his back to the runner ever. Holding them at first, but you see the speed in almost any other aspect of McClain, whether that be during their base running, during on defense especially. You've seen so many balls, especially by the shortstop, just tracked down that you wouldn't normally see out of a shortstop. Including that excellent play to end the inning, their last time on defense, catching Hez Nelson stealing.
Tries the corner one more time and misses just off the edge. Now 2-1. Now the pitch down and in. So all of a sudden, after his command's been rock solid throughout the evening, he walks Easton Airy. Now he's gone 3-1 with Matthew Cummins. That ball misses down and in as it gets away from Alexander. It's ball 4 anyway, so the runner was going to move up. And so now back-to-back walks.
Still a good job there by Alexander, not letting the ball get too far behind him with the speed that McClain has.
Good job by Alexander here. Just walks out and talks to his pitcher there a little bit to see if he can calm him down a little bit.
The other side, you get Coach Nibble walking out the ball to the umpire, just giving his guys time to talk it over.
Looks like they have some activity down in the Waverly bullpen. We're shut off a little bit from that. Looks like a right-hander down there throwing. I can't see the number on it. So the one-out batter is going to be Camden Penwell. Penwell struck out twice tonight, but he's going to bat here with 2 on and his team trailing 2-1. And you have really good speed out there, and sometimes against the lefty, it's a lot easier to steal third. Let's see how aggressive they might be. They have a really good speed combination in Airy and Cummins on base. First pitch swinging. Fly ball back over the top here at VA Memorial Stadium. Strike 1. Waverly defense plays it pretty straight up. Outfield somewhat shallow. As I said earlier, really good arm and center from Spriggs. It's a pitch. Nice job by Cage Alexander. Keep that ball in front. Boy, would that be a big 90 feet for both base runners if that ball gets by. So put a little star next to that one with a good effort from the catcher, Alexander. There's a swing and shot to right field, coming hard. And that ball pops free. Everybody's safe. The runner's going to move up, and that's going to bring Airy all the way around the score, and that's going to tie the ball game. Give the RBI. I think they'll go ahead and call that RBI single. It's a little bit of a diving effort where the ball popped out. Airy had a pretty good read on it. Comes around the score. Move Cummins up to second, put Penwell at first. Now Eli Douglas will bat with 1 out, and that's going to get a mound visit. And let's see if they're going to go to the bullpen. It's what we talked about there. Ramey had been so good throughout the evening and just lost the command just a little bit there in the back-to-back walks from Airy and Cummins, but give McClain credit just being able to stay with it offensively to find a way, and they're not done yet, still with an opportunity to maybe play out in front.
Well, gets under it a little bit there, but almost the textbook drawing up bloop single if you look for it in the dictionary, and with the right fielder diving to attempt to catch the ball kind of rolls away, gives them a chance to score. Still a runner in scoring position for McClain with one out. So Eli Douglas will try to add to his RBI total. He's sitting at 5 on the year, hitting just above 300 from the plate is the senior.
Yeah, Douglas singled back in the second inning. Then he hit a ball right on the barrel, but right at center fielder Braylon Spriggs. But that was one of the hardest hit balls of the night. He squared that one up to end the fourth inning. So great opportunity for Douglas and his McClain Tigers as they're going to stay with the lefty Landon Ramey, who's been terrific here tonight, just fighting his command here a little bit in the sixth inning. So 2 on, 1 out. And again, Eli Douglas will take a crack at it. Pitch misses up and away. Benny Van Gundy, the pitcher, on deck, and then after that, if the inning would continue, you'd flip it back to the top of the order to Chandler. There's a foul ball right at the plate. Evens count 1-1. Again, still really good speed out there at second base and Matthew Cummins, so any base hit to the outfield, he's certainly going to challenge a Waverly arm.
Cummins, a sophomore, swiped 12 bags of his own this season. And as you said, going against the lefty, it's easier to steal third in these situations. Sitting on only 1 out, see if they can threaten the run game.
There's a swing and a fly ball. Lifted out just over top of the second baseman. Coming in out of right field. I believe when they made the pinch runner earlier that Nelson stayed in the game. So I believe that was Nelson that had come in on that dive earlier. The ball popped out. He made that play there. So I
believe that was number 1, Gavin Roberts.
Oh, so he is back. Okay.
You're right.
Okay. I couldn't tell if they had stayed the same defensively.
I believe that was number 1 on the jersey.
So 2 outs. And Benny Van Gundy steps to the plate. Again, top of the order on deck. Van Gundy struck out in the second. Grounded out to the shortstop Cox in the fifth.
Talked about it all game, but the shortstop play defensively from both teams really excellent in this contest.
Ramey checks a runner out there at second base. Now going to fake a move there. Shortstop Cox and second baseman Pauline been working together trying to keep the speedy Cummins as close to the bag as possible to give your outfield a chance on a base hit. The 2-out spot, you certainly want to make sure you get home. You don't want to get caught at the bag if you're wanting to play at a particular spot defensively. So a lot of communication goes into it. And that's a costly miss there because that's going to load the bases and bring the top of the order in Connor Chandler. And we're going to have a second mound visit, which is going to equal a trip to the Waverly bullpen. Again, I know it was a tough sixth inning for Landon Ramey, but the left-hander was really, really good tonight. And we'll see if he can get some help from the bullpen here for Waverly. I'll tell you what, Kenneth, let's step aside here while we have the pitching change. It's 2-2, bases loaded, with Connor Chandler coming to the plate. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, You leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Welcome back here as Waverly makes the pitching change as Caleb Cox will come on in this 2-out bases loaded jam. As you get in high school baseball quite a bit, Kenneth, you make these pitching changes and you got to play little musical chairs around the diamond and get some different guys in different spots. Looks like Ramey will head on out to the outfield.
It'll be Balin moving to short, and that'll move Spriggs down to second.
Okay, so Connor Chandler, the McClain leadoff hitter, 1 for 3 on the evening. He tripled and scored. Since then, he's hit a fly ball to first and a little comebacker to the mound. Cox delivers. First pitch swinging. Snagged out of the air by Braylon Spriggs, who comes in there second base and not ends the inning.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounds and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Welcome back as McClain gets a run there in their half of the 6th inning to tie the game at 2. I mentioned when Cox had come on the pitch that a lot of times in high school baseball that means a lot of movement around the diamond. And as Cox comes to the mound, ball leaned and moved over to short. Spriggs had moved in out of center field to second, and Ramey out to center. And as we say in baseball, the ball will certainly find you. One pitch and a line drive, and Braylon Spriggs reaches up and snags it out of the air to retire the McClain leadoff hitter, and that's a big spot as Cox comes in to pick up his buddy Ramey, and we're tied at 2 as we head off to the home half of the 6th inning. It'll be Waverly's chance to answer as they will send 4, 5, 6 to the plate in the form of Spriggs, Ramey, and Harris.
Yeah, Noble looking at Cox to pitch more this year than he did last year with a lot of turnover in their lineup, and maybe not a pitcher by trade, but that senior leadership on the mound just does a good job just holding it down for the Tigers.
Well, you get caught in these weeks where I said weather's been pretty good throughout the spring. You need the depth of pitching to step forward for you, especially in these non-league matchups. First pitch swinging. That ball's hit over in the head. Chandler will try the arm strength, and infield hit all the way. That ball was just hit to the perfect spot. Never was going to have a chance to get Spriggs hustling down the line. Good start for Waverly as Spriggs is aboard. Got to bring up Landon Ramey as we're going to have a pinch runner.
Number 34, Sebo Smith.
Sebastian Smith. So now a couple options for Waverly here. They could jumpstart the run game. They could bunt to move him over. Get late in the game, you're looking to execute here. Ramey struck out in the first and again in the third. Shows bunt, pulls back, and snap throw down the first. We've already have watched the arm of Carson Chandler impact this game twice, so keeping the runner honest there. Again, when you're in that sacrifice situation, that runner's got to see the ball on the ground. Got caught a little bit off the bag there on ball one.
I've been impressed with the catchers from both teams tonight. Just such a good job blocking and showing off the arm.
Well, there's a good bunt and a little miscommunication there. We had Pinwell coming in, Van Gundy coming off the mound, and what was going to be a sacrifice to move the guy up. All hands are safe, and now all of a sudden first and second, nobody out. Waverly's in business.
That'll bring up Hud Harris. Once again, both these teams trotting out young lineups this year. Hud Harris, only a sophomore.
Harris with an RBI single back in the third inning. And at that time, it put Waverly up 2-1. Since then, McClain has scored to tie it at 2, and now Harris has ideas of seeing if he can do it one more time, with Smith leading out at second base. Inability for McClain to get the out on the bunt still leaves us with no outs in the inning. Now Harris will show bunt. It was Pinwell charging hard from first with Airy over from his second base spot to cover. So in this spot, if you're Harris, if you are going to bunt, you want to bunt that ball a little bit harder at that third baseman Peabody and make him come down the line to get it. There's a swing foul at the plate. Heads up, Smith had seen the ball loose, but there immediately was called contact at the plate by the home plate umpire, so Smith will return to second. 0-2 to count. Van Gundy in desperate need of a strikeout here. Good pitch, and there's a good swing. Rips the ball down the left field line. That's going to bring Smith home for sure. Cut off there at the line by Douglas, and he throws it in the third. Ball gets away, and that's going to be an RBI double for Hud Harris. And Harris working on a nice evening with an RBI single in the third, and now another RBI, the double variety here in the sixth. So Waverly regains the advantage 3-2, and they're still threatening, nobody out. Two guys in scoring position. Chance to really get control of this here.
They'll look to the bench here. That's Cale Nisley. Nisley, also a sophomore, as the first pitch is in the dirt for ball one.
And Nisley hitting for Burdett here in the 7 hole. Nice job by Chandler to kick out there and block. Van Gundy here working from the windup with less than 2 outs. I always felt like that's a big advantage for that base runner to get a little start there at third and get a read. There's a swing and a miss. McClain pulls the infield in. Most of them, by the time they creep step, well on into the green turf ahead of the ahead of, where you'd normally say in on the grass. Now it's 3-1. Hitters count here for Nisley. Foul at the plate, going to run full. Tyler Bauline on deck. Caden Thornsberry in the hole. 3-2 Waverly. 2 on, nobody out. There's a line drive, base hit right back up the middle. One's going to score easily. The wave is on for Harris to throw to the plate and arrives there right around the time. You hope Carson Chandler is okay, the catcher, and the really talented McClain catcher down there a little bit. 2 runs did score on the play to go up 5-2, but for the moment the concern is for the talented Chandler. So again, you'll give Nisley the 2-run single. Bring Ramey and Harris home to make it 5-2, and it looks like he's going to be okay there. There's a hard slide coming underneath as the ball was arriving. Throw came in from Colton Lamb. Wasn't a bad one. Pretty much on line. Just kind of a bang-bang contact there as he was sliding in.
Yeah, nothing dirty there.
No,
Just
not
a
at all.
hard
Not at
baseball
all.
play.
Good baseball the way around. Just caught him a little bit there. And
Good effort by Chandler there to stay in the play. So he's back to his feet, looking ready to warm up. Hopefully he just got a little shaken up there from the play at the plate.
when the ball had come home, so you're going to have a I think the way they'll score it is you'll have the 2-run single. They'll move up to second on the throw home and then move to third. You're going to have to give an error on someone. That'd be a tough error to give on the catcher. So, unfortunately, that's the way baseball works. It's probably, even though it was a really good throw, it's probably going to be on the center fielder, which that's kind of the way the game can be cruel statistically sometimes. But, again, that runner moves up to third. You got to account for it in some way, and it's probably going to be with an error there.
Mound meeting here for McClain. Van Gundy will stay on. Probably just giving his guys another chance at a little break here. Catch his breath after the tough play at home.
Tyler Bauline will be the batter. And again, still nobody out as Waverly now starting to take control of this one and threatening to break it open a little bit more.
Still no outs for Waverly.
Squeeze play on the bunt. They get it down, coming home on the flip, and they got him. Nice job. Penwell coming hard on the flip there to Chandler, and Chandler applies the tag. Nice job. Cut down Eli Rigsby, who had come in to run there at third base. So terrific bunt defense there from Penwell. Coming all or nothing play, really couldn't allow another run. He really had no choice but to try to cut down that would-be sixth run and keeps it at a 3-point or a 3-run game here at this point in the game. There's a ground ball to short, probably not hit well enough to get two, but they do get the lead runner. Good choice there from Easton Airy to eat that one. So Chandler to Airy, 6-4 on the fielder's choice. Cuts down that lead guy for the second out of the inning.
See the pitcher Cox come back up to the plate.
So again, after the Bauline squeeze play, unable to be successful. Thornsberry into the fielder's choice, and now Cox will get his fourth opportunity of the evening. There's a swing and a high fly ball lifted up in the infield. Looks like first baseman Camden Penwell is going to take charge, and he's going to haul it in the Waverly home half of the sixth inning. Well, 3 miles from the house for Waverly. McClain will need 3 to get even, 4 to go ahead. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Welcome back to the 7th inning as Caleb Cox had come on in relief of Ramey back in the 6th inning to get the line drive to get Waverly out of the inning, and then Waverly offense went right to work, and they scored 3 times to take a 5-2 advantage. And now Cox will see if he can close the door as he will face 2, 3, 4 Peabody, Lamb, and Chandler. So certainly who you'd want coming to the plate if you're McClain, but they're going to need base runners early and often as they need 3 to stay alive in this one.
Cox coming in relief in the last inning remains on the mound for Waverly.
Alexander fires down, and we're about ready to get going here in the top of the 7th inning. Been a well-played baseball game. Certainly been some mistakes here and there, but well pitched from both starting pitchers tonight. Ramey on the Waverly side, Van Gundy on the Greenfield side, but Waverly did just enough there in that home half of the 6th inning to create this 3-run advantage, and now let's see if Cox and company can close the door. Hunter Peabody 1 for 2 with a walk on the evening. Situation where you probably will have a lot of taking till you get a strike. Not always. Every coach is a little bit different, but again, looking for base runners here. Ball 2. Peabody walked to lead off the 3rd inning, but he was immediately victim of a 4-6-3 double play that ended up eliminating him, and Peabody ducks out of that one just a little bit and going to run the count 3-0. There's a ball 4, and that'll put Hunter Peabody aboard here to start the 7th inning. Colton Lamb will come to the plate. As we've said throughout the evening, Lamb's enjoyed an incredible spring, hitting .415, but tonight Waverly's held him in check a little bit. Ground ball to short back in the 1st, a 4-6-3 double play in the 3rd, and then the fly out to right field in the 5th. So still looking for a first hit, but again, in this situation, his number 1 priority is just trying to find a way to follow Peabody on base to try to get the tying run to the plate with Carson Chandler, McClain's leading hitter, on deck. There's a strike. So Cox gets ahead. Peabody leads from first. There's a swing and a miss. Nice pitch there from Cox. Hit a spot low and away. As we've said, the McClain run game, such a big part. I don't think you'll see it here, even with the right-hander now on the mound. Probably not worth the risk-reward in the 3-run game. Ball to the outer half. Great job, Cage Alexander. Both catchers have been really good here tonight. Alexander on the one side, Chandler on the other. 1-2, Cox still way ahead. Double play ball right out the shortstop. A little bit of a boot, does flip it in time. So good job by Pauline not to panic. Off the bat, that looked like a perfect double play type of ball. But once he bobbled, he had presence of mind to still flip the sprigs and get the first out of the inning. So we'll go 6-4 on the fielder's choice, and Lamb will replace Peabody over at first base, and Carson Chandler will be the one-out batter. Pitch in for a strike. So after Cox walked Peabody on 4 straight pitches, really finds the release point and been able to work ahead of first Lamb and now Chandler. There's a swing and a drive down the left field line. That ball's fair into the left field corner. Sprinting around is going to be Lamb. He'll score easy. Chandler will stop at second with an RBI double. That gets one of the 3 runs back. And that'll give Easton Airy a try. Again, Carson Chandler, 442 on the year. McClain's leading hitter. That's his 3rd hit of the evening. Like I said, Lamb comes all the way around. Good speed there. And Chandler at second. Still only represents the 4th run. Keep in mind, McClain needs 5 to get even. So they're going to need 2 more here. So Airy coming up to the plate here, that becomes the out that Waverly gets really concerned about. On the inside, Airy saying it got him. And it did. Got him on the arm, so he's going to go down to first base. And so now Chandler at second. Airy represents the tying run at first, and with 1 out, Matthew Cummins will be the batter, but not before we have a mound visit. Chance just to slow down the inning. Kenneth, you and I have talked about it 2 or 3 times a night. You get in these situations throughout the week here, and you're in league play, and you call on a lot of different guys to throw, and that's the way these non-league games go. You get in these situations, and you're just trying to find. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner out there for Chandler.
That'll be number 4, Chris Lanning.
Okay, so
only a freshman.
So Lanning into the game, and again, Easton Airy.
Lanning's appeared in 4 games for the Tigers, has 1 run.
Ball misses away. Cummins on the night, 1 for 2 with a walk. He had an infield hit to lead off the 2nd inning. Struck out back in the 4th and then walked in the 6th. There's a good pitch as Cox finds the zone to even the count 1-1. Love to have that same type of ground ball. Waverly with a chance to turn that double play earlier in the inning. Unable to do so and let it run. And then now this becomes a huge ball that gets away here as the 4th and 5th runs move up 90 feet. And all of a sudden now, Easton Airy out there at second base with just 1 out. Matthew Cummins ahead in the count 2-1.
Cummins 12 RBIs so far this spring for McClain.
Here's a situation for Waverly where the run at third base is irrelevant. On any ground ball, you want to make sure the 2nd out. So, again, a lot of situational baseball in these late inning situations. Now 3-1. Hitters count here. Pitch comes in, swing, and a foul ball back off first base side. Going to run the count full. First base is open, but Cox would love to record the second out here in the inning. And a good pitch there, finds the strike zone, and the backwards K comes at a perfect time there for Cox. And now McClain down to their last out. And it'll come with Camden Penwell. Penwell started the night rough with strikeouts in the second, fourth, but his last time up had an RBI single in the sixth. Good job of working ahead from Cox with the first pitch strike. Again, first base is open, but it's one of those things that's all about matchups and what you want to attack here. There's a ground ball. This could do it. Second base Spriggs up and throws across to Brock Burdette. And the Waverly Tigers hang on as Cox comes in, is able to close the door for the final out in the sixth. 3 more in the seventh. And Waverly knocks off McClain 5-3 in an outstanding high school non-conference baseball game. Shane Combs and Kenneth Hay, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with plenty of post-game recap, and we'll let you know what's coming up on SOSA here in the days to come. You are watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Swing and a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget as well as 60 months 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news, Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Welcome back here. Post-game coverage, Shane Combs and Kenneth Hay here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health. Outstanding high school non-conference baseball game here at VA Memorial Stadium sees the Waverly Tigers defeat McClain 5-3. Outstanding game all the way through. Good starting pitching on both sides. Landon Ramey on the Waverly side, Benny Van Gundy on the McClain side, and back and forth they went at each other, pitching in and out of trouble, and for the most part it was a low-scoring game throughout the early parts of the inning. Early on, it was tied at 1 and then eventually tied at 2, and McClain had a great opportunity there in the 6th inning when Caleb Cox had come on in relief of Landon Ramey, and he gets the line drive right into the glove of Braylon Spriggs to get out of that jam. Waverly would then go to the bat rack, and they would answer in a hurry. They would score 3 times in the home half of the 6th to go up 5-2. Greenfield would get a run back in the 7th and have plenty of base runners and an opportunity to tie it, but Cox was able to induce a ground ball over to second base, and Spriggs tossed it on over to Burdette to close things out 5-3. Kenneth, again, we talk about it all the time when we do these games out here, that it's a situation where it's why you play these types of games late in the year and in the non-conference. Obviously, both of these teams are in the middle of some really good leagues, but in the non-conference, you test your pitching staff a little bit, and games like this can go a long way, win or lose. Obviously, you want to win them all, but win or lose can go a long way into the postseason.
Yeah, win number 499 for Coach Jeff Noble. And one thing I'd like to point out from this contest is just the composure from all the pitchers in this contest, whether that be Ramey early on having the control issues, but staying solid until he be taken out. And I want to give a lot of credit to Cox, because it's hard to be in that situation as a pitcher with everything behind you and just standing your composure, even though he's having issues with the control, having issues finding it, just stayed in there and closed the game for the Tigers. He'll pick up the win tonight.
Yeah, that's why you go to a leader there, because you know that he'll compose and compete for you, and he was able to do that. You look down the offensive lines for Waverly, you get a hit for Cox, a hit for Toller, a hit for Alexander, a hit for Spriggs. But I wanted to go on down a little bit there. Hud Harris, a big RBI knock in the 3rd inning, another RBI knock in the 6th. And then Nisley comes off the bench there in the 6th inning and provides a 2-run single there. And that ended up giving him the cushion that put him up 5-2. They'd eventually go on to win it 5-3. Again, Landon Ramey, terrific. Doesn't figure in the decision, but gives him 5 2/3 of an inning. Was outstanding. Cox comes on, records that last out, which makes him the winning pitcher, and then he gets 3 more outs in the 7. Tough luck loser was Benny Van Gundy. I thought he was really, really good tonight, but just you get in these late game situations, someone's going to come out on the wrong end of it. But again, I thought it comes into the game with an ERA under 2, and you could certainly see why. I was impressed with his ability to compete tonight.
Yeah, Van Gundy, just all his breaking balls I thought were really good at getting the hitters off timing and just finding the corners of the zones there. Put himself in some danger a little bit, but once again stood his composure and closed the outs. Got up a little bit in the later innings, but overall a really solid showing from the junior.
Waverly back to 500 with the win there, evens up their record at 9-9. McClain drops to 11-7. They'll be right back in action tomorrow night. Remember the Monday-Wednesday format of the 2-game series in the FAC, so after they win at Hillsboro last night, they'll welcome Hillsboro tomorrow night. You had Waverly. I apologize, I don't have that in front of me. Waverly goes where next?
Waverly is back at home against Northwest tomorrow evening.
Okay, so a chance to get right back at it if weather allows it. I know tomorrow night is one of the nights. So before we get out of here, just want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I know with some of the other stuff coming here to the VA, we may be away from our high school coverage for a little while, but you still plenty of things to watch. Make sure you're following all the socials. You'll get good interviews. Make sure you're checking out SOSA Overtime, presented by Perfection One. And, of course, the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches call-in show when you get a chance to listen to a little bit of everything baseball and softball. Well, Kenneth, all kinds of fun. I know we'll be back together soon when postseason baseball comes calling. Give a shout-out to John Bruce next door, the man of many talents. And for Kenneth Hay, I'm Shane Combs. Final score for the final time, Waverly beats McClain 5-3. So long, everyone.